Hello guys, this is also Gamer Line here. So like I said in my previous video, I rate the fighters by like categories, so God fighters and demigod fighters and so on. So the demigod fighters, like I said in my definition to me in this game, which I gave them that name, are basically like the second best fighters in the game. So this is a box of them. There should be like 2 or 3 more included, but I didn't include them in here because I'm just gonna give you probably my 4 or 5 best out of all of these. So there are currently 12 in this box right now, and I will only basically say like the best 5. Alright, so let's get right into it. I'm doing an analysis. No, don't move him. Go to summary. Alright, so Baby Vegeta to me is one of the worst demigod fighters that you can possibly use. His defense is trash. I've used him on multiple occasions and either got one-shotted or left with little or no HP. His attack power really isn't all that high, and it's not very decent. His speed is trash. I think the Revenge Wall could do more if it was a different type of move, maybe a fire type move, but since it's a dark type move, it's not going to hit as hard as you would think it would. So, depending on which fighter you're facing against, it'll hit hard, but he's not the first choice I would use. Baby Vegeta would definitely not be the first choice at all whatsoever. So, and he can also block critical hits, which he saved me from multiple moves. But then again, he's not really all that powerful, so I would not use him. All right. So I was gonna go to Super Saiyan 3 Goku, but I'm actually gonna go to Pikkon because he's actually just as bad as Baby Vegeta is. So Pikkon, like I said, his defense is trash. I've got Pikkon, like Pikkon got way more fucked up than Baby Vegeta has. Like Baby Vegeta has actually lasted longer in my experience than I've used with Pikkon. Pikkon is trash. The limber thing is basically useless. Now the Hell Shot and Burning Shot, if you can actually get the Hell Shot off and leave a burn, then it can be pretty useful. But Pikkon, his attack power, like his stats are not that high to begin with. His speed is even more trash than Baby Vegeta's. So he's not going to attack first, and he's not going to do nearly as much damage as Baby Vegeta would. So it would just be kind of pointless for you to use either one of them. I feel like Baby Vegeta would be more useful because he has more health, he has more speed, and he has more defense, and he could do more damage than Pikkon would without that burn. So, and he has a better ability because he can block critical hits. And, you know, Pikkon can only block, you know, paralysis, which there's basically no move in the game that's going to paralyze you. So, I think the lightning of Zamasu could potentially paralyze you. But then again, this was even before they added that in. So, let's get on to Ultimate Gohan. I haven't really used him too much, but the times I have used him, he can tank a little bit, but not really. And he never attacks first because his speed is trash and his attack power really isn't that high. It's basically like his move set that I think that really hurts him. But Ultimate Gohan, like I said, he's not something that you would want to use. If you used him like throughout the game, if Gohan was your first choice, you can get through the game with him, but I wouldn't recommend picking him. But Gohan, he can do some damage. But like if you can get a good move set on him, he can be just as useful as Baby or Pikkon. But even then, he's still on their level to me. So let's get on to Frieza. So Frieza, despite his stats, can actually do some pretty decent damage. And plus he has full power on him, which will be able to raise his attack stat from 108 to whatever. And if you use, you know, full power and you use one of these attacks, they can actually be pretty useful, especially the Death Ball. So without that, he can still pull off some pretty good damage. He's more useful than Baby Vegeta, Pikkon, and Ultimate Gohan. Trust me, even though he can't I'm telling you, if he's only useful for attack, he's not useful for shit else. So if you don't put an item on him that can make him attack first, and you can't use full power, then he's fucking trash. Like, that's the thing about these demigods. Like, if they were just, you know, by themselves, it would be okay. But in terms of like even Golden Frieza is not even all that. He's only good for like attack. Like everything else is fucking trash. But basically these four, Baby Vegeta, Ultimate Gohan, Frieza, and Pikkon, are probably one of the worst demigods that you can use. Alright, so let's go to Janemba. So I haven't really used Janemba too much, but in the times that I've had used them, I don't have to worry about, getting any status problems for real. The Air Slash is a really good move to get high critical hits, and as you can see, his attack stats, his special attack and his attack is pretty good. So I've been able to get some pretty decent damage off of all the attacks that I have used. Trust me, even though it's only these three, if you use Hyper Mode and you use Air Slash, you can get some pretty good amount of damage, or Mouth Blast or Demon Saber. So he can tank a few attacks. He's better than all the previous choices and all the previous fighters I've named. But like I said, I really wouldn't use him. But he's still a decent unit. Well, I'm thinking of fucking Dokkan so much. He's still a decent fighter. But you guys know what the hell I mean. He's still a pretty decent fighter. But I still wouldn't use him. But he's better than all the previous choices. Now let's get on to all of these, the rest. So let me start off with Kid Buu. So Kid Buu, even though in the previous video, he yeah, I actually had a video that I made, but he couldn't. I had to delete it, but he couldn't do shit in that video. So Kid Buu can actually tank a few attacks. If you're just using like demigods or fighting against a demigod or anything below, he can actually tank a few attacks, and he actually heals upon switching out, which is a really useful ability actually, because I've relied on him plenty of times. His best move is the Planet Burst, which is very, very, very fucking useful. If you use Hyper Mode plus Planet Burst, and the fact that he can actually endure some attacks, and he can actually heal when you switch him out, he's a pretty good fighter. And I would recommend using him on, like, if you wanted to be on like a tanking team to get some good damage off. And plus he has more HP than all the previous fighters, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, he actually has more HP than all of them. So that's one, upside. So he has more HP, he can do more damage, and he can tank, and his attack, like all of his stats are just better. So he would be something that I would use more towards defense, or I guess you would say countering in a way. So let's get on to Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta. He can block critical hits. I haven't really worried about that too much. Like I said, Vegeta, the reason why Vegeta is so good in this game is because of his techniques. Like, he has so many different techniques that he uses. Like, Zenkai, I don't find really any, use for. Explosion is very good. Final Cannon, very fucking useful. So, Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta can do just as much damage as Super Saiyan 4 Goku, but I found myself doing a little bit more damage with Super Saiyan 4 Goku, and his defense is not really all that. He can't even take as much damage as Super Saiyan 4 Goku. So like, if Super Saiyan 4 Goku's health is half, Vegeta would be just a little bit lower than his, which is not too much of a difference, but it is to me. So Super Saiyan 4 Goku, he doesn't have as much speed as Vegeta does, so Vegeta will attack before Goku does, but that's beside the point. He can actually do more damage. Let's go to his Genki Dama, as well as Time 10 Kamehameha. So I found myself doing a little bit more damage with Super Saiyan 4 Goku. I don't know why, but like, if we compare the stats, I mean, they're not too far apart, but you can obviously see the difference, but they're not too far apart in the stats. But I think the main reason why he does more damage is because of the Blaze, and along with the times 10 Kamehameha. So if you have a Blaze times 10 Kamehameha, and plus his special attack is just one bit higher and his attack is higher, I think that's why he can get a little bit more damage off. In terms of survival, Super Saiyan 4 Goku is not too reliable, but in attack, you can be guaranteed, alright? He can actually pull off a couple bangers. So he's actually much more useful than, I'm not gonna say Kid Buu, but he can pull off some more damage than Kid Buu. He doesn't have as much defense as he does, and he can do more damage than all of the previous units that I have named. So I keep saying units, but you guys understand what I mean. So let's get on to Perfect Cell. Perfect Cell, he can't, look, let me tell you something about Perfect Cell. he basically steals other people's moves, and he's more of a technique guy. But what really sets him out is the cell shift, because this cell shift is very, very useful depending on which moves you want, because you can actually customize one move that's on his thing. Plus, he already has a whole bunch of other useful moves that you could actually use. So that's really why Perfect Cell is kind of useful. But besides that, you can't really reduce any of his abilities, and his speed is okay. Defense not up to par, so he can get fucked up. His attack is not up to par, but his techniques can kind of save him. So I would choose him over somebody like Frieza, Gohan, Pikkon, and Baby Vegeta, but maybe not Janemba. But in terms of techniques, he's more useful than all of those. You know, Baby Vegeta and, you know, all of these, as well as Pikkon. He's more useful, but I would still pick somebody like Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta, Super Saiyan 4 Goku, or Kid Buu over him. So let's get to these three mains. Alright. So, Super Saiyan 3 Goku is actually very useful and can do a lot of damage. And before all the kind of like the God fighters came out, a whole bunch of them, he was basically one of the best fighters in the game, and he can get you through the entire game until you get to the championship and things start getting harder. But Super Saiyan 3 Goku is basically like, if you wanted to go through the game easy, you would use him. So as you can see, he has some pretty good stats. Speed is higher than everyone I have named. Sorry about that. Dragon Fist is basically, to me, his best attack. I don't have Genki Dama on him, but Dragon Fist, I feel like not only can Super Saiyan 3 Goku can do a lot of damage, he also can use that Dragon Fist. So basically, if you needed to take out somebody's best fighter, I would use Super Saiyan 3 Goku right off the bat. That's the one that I recommend using. And plus, he can endure some attacks. He's not the best at defending. He's more of towards speed and attack base. But if you want to take out somebody's best fighter, you could use him, as well as getting some good amount of damage off the next fighter that they pick. So to me, he's in the top 3 best demigods. Alright. So I'm gonna actually say my top 5 when I'm done analyzing the other 2. So let's get right into this. So let's go to Broly. I'm gonna say this right now. Broly can only be used as an attack fighter. His defense is trash, alright? Now, I see you see the 155 right there because he's level 79, but I guarantee you he cannot survive shit. And he's slow as fuck. I'm talking about this nigga is slow. Like, compared to all the other demigods, he is slow. Like, if I go through all the other demigods, he's the slowest out of all of them except for Frieza. And that's only because he's 9 levels higher. And he's only 3 numbers behind. Like, he's literally the slowest out of all of them. It's ridiculous. But in terms of HP and power, I think he can kind of beat all the rest. Like, literally, as you can see, he has more HP than everyone. Even though he's higher, you know, than some of them. But basically, in terms of HP, yeah. So you can see that a lot of them are higher levels. So in terms of HP, I would give it to Broly. And also in terms of attack. But in terms of defense and speed, this fucking trash. As you can see, he has huge power. He also has full power. And he also has Buster Shell. So if you can get a full power off, and that ability activates, and you can use Buster Shell, you can get a good ass amount of damage, but his defense is trash. So I would not rely on him defending at all, because he's not going to be able to tank. He's going to be able to barely tank, alright? So to me, this next unit is actually probably the best, one of the best that you can use. Sorry, I need to clear my throat. I've been talking a lot, but Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, alright? I've used him in various, and I mean various situations, alright? His attack power is phenomenal. Like, he can actually do more than Super Saiyan 3 Goku. And Super Saiyan 3 Goku can basically, he can do more than Broly in certain terms, but in raw power, I'd probably give it to Broly, because Broly has exceeded Super Saiyan 3 Goku sometimes, but basically, he's stronger than Super Saiyan 3 Goku, trust me. So in terms of HP, I would actually give that to Goku, but in terms of power, I would give it to Gohan. He has huge power, Plus he has full power, and he has the Super Kamehameha, which is 150 power and 100% accuracy, which means basically it's not going to miss. And I've used this on various occasions, and I've had like matches to where Super Saiyan 3 Goku only did half damage, and Super Saiyan 2 Gohan literally, without even using full power, has nearly knocked out that opponent. And using full power, I've been able to one-shot gods, like god fighters. I've been able to one-shot them or nearly one-shot them by just using full power once. Not twice, not 3 times, but once, which has been way more than Goku could do. So in terms of power, I think Super Saiyan 2 Gohan is probably the best because he can do the most damage, but you know, his defense is actually pretty decent too. So he can tank a few attacks, but like I said, he's another unit that I wouldn't really rely on. But I could rely to him maybe surviving 2 or 3 hits depending on who's attacking him. But in terms of raw ass power, I would give it to Gohan. My top 5 units would be Gohan, Super Saiyan 3 Goku. Just it's debatable with Broly. I would say Broly or either Perfect Cell. But in terms of raw power, I would give it to Broly. But in terms of techniques, I would give it to Perfect Cell. And also, yeah. So 1, 2. So third place could really go to... I think I would put them in the 4th place. Alright, so these 2 would be 4th places. Actually, no, these 3. So Kid Buu, Perfect Cell, and Legendary Super Saiyan Broly. And Super Saiyan 4 Goku and Vegeta would actually be in the 3rd spot. So the reason why I have these 2 in the 3rd spot is because they could do more damage than Broly in certain cases. They can definitely do more damage than Perfect Cell, and they can definitely do more damage than Kid Buu. And plus, they have better techniques. I mean, Perfect Cell has techniques, but you have to think about it. His defense is not up to par, as well as his attack power. So even though he can do those techniques, he doesn't have as much attack power and special attack to be able to do as much damage as Super Saiyan 4, Vegeta, and Goku would be able to do. So, you know, Kid Buu, he can tank pretty good. He can do a pretty good amount of damage. But in terms of which one I would pick out of all 3 of these, if I needed like power and I needed to potentially one-shot somebody, I would pick Legendary Super Saiyan Broly. But if I needed somebody who could survive, I would pick Kid Buu. If I needed somebody with techniques, potentially, who needed, you know, who had a move that could do good against the type, it would be Perfect Cell. But if I really had to be honest with you, the best ones to have are Super Saiyan 2 Gohan and Super Saiyan 3 Goku. Just from the fact that Gohan is stronger than Super Saiyan 3 Goku, basically the strongest one out of all of these. He has the most raw power, and he can take some attacks. And Super Saiyan 3 Goku can be used in various situations. He can be put on almost any team and can be used flawlessly with no problem. But I hope you guys enjoyed this analysis for today. My throat is getting dry as fuck from analyzing all of these people. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this analysis. Hope this helped you out into what choices you pick for what teams you make. For the demigods, at least, like I said, there are about 2 or 3 more that should be on this list, but I just didn't put them in the box. Alright, so hope you guys enjoyed. This has been Also Gamer Chillon here. Have a great